Good morning. This is Dan in Tunt, Alaska. This is looking outside on a fall day, a week after or so after moose hunting season started. This is the secondary project here on chapter 2, and it says the target shows the numbers 16, 17, 23, 24, 39, and 40. How many arrows does it take to score exactly 100 on this target? And as you can see, I have a target there in the center. And it was a difficult task, as you can look at the work around there. And also, I made this chart here of multiples of each of those numbers. I don't know how well this is focusing. Okay, so I did multiples of, and I did some addition of some of these. And I continued on working on that problem. And so I would do different values plus other values. So I have multiples of, and I would add 16 or 23 to that. And I ended up getting a list of numbers over here that's been crossed out when you add the multiples of to some of the originals. For instance, this doesn't look really focused, but I get 16. The next row. So the first one I get is 40, and then I add, by adding different values together, clear up to 84. And I know if I add 16 to 84, I'll get my number that I'm looking for. And as you can see, there are some circled numbers. And over here on the left side, there are some circled numbers. The circled numbers, like 50, how did I get 50? Well, it's back up here in these combinations, such as 16 and 34 make 50. Well, what I find is the only way that I found to make 100, exactly 100, was multiples of 16 and multiples of 17. And it ended up taking 4 17s, I believe, and 2 16s to make 100. And as you can see, there's many circled numbers over here on the left, and these are combinations of the 16 and the 17, different ways. Many were figured out slowly. So that was my final answer, is multiples of 16 and 17 is the only way. The numbers 23, 24, that's where I got these numbers over here, some of these numbers. And what I found is by taking it all away from 100, so I would get a number, and I would take that number away from 100, and if it was possible, and I would look back over to these numbers and was 37 in there. No. So only certain combinations. And that's my final answer on the arrows and the targets. And right here, the original one. How many arrows? And I believe you can only have 4 17s and 2 16s. As a combination, will get 100. Thank you for viewing this one. I have the other project here as well, somewhere. Let me look here. A different worksheet. Okay, hang on. And on this one, it was talking about the buildings. You had a 8 by 8 building. The walls were 8s, 10s, 12s, and 15-foot walls. And how many buildings could you make out of that? And of course, up here I have 16 buildings. and there are several that are doubled. So over here's my final answer. 12 buildings without being doubled, or 16 buildings with doubles. And here's some examples of the process by which you can say, well, that's not a double, in that if this was the highway right here and you had the buildings on this side, and this is the opening door or the windows on this side, you could put all your structures over there, and then if you turn the building, there's only one 15 by 15. If you turn the building long ways and had the doors and windows on this side, the entrance point was over here by the highway, then that would be a different building. So I can see where you can count both kinds of structures that you've made. And of course it would depend on your backyard, which side you want the windows on, the doors on, if you had limited space in your backyard. Okay, that's the two problems out of chapter 2. And again, I can't really tell if it's focusing well. But thank you.